Hello, I'm Charlotte, a 76-year-old woman, and who would have thought that I would be here today talking to you about such an intimate and delicate subject? When I was young, these topics were kept under wraps, hidden under the rug. Talk about sex, it was almost taboo. But look how time has changed, and I'm very happy that it happened. Now we can discuss these issues openly, without embarrassment, but always with respect. Let me ask, have you ever stopped to think about the impact of ejaculation on the body? I'm not just referring to the act itself, but what it means for physical, emotional, and even mental health. Many people think that it is just a temporary pleasure, but the issue is much deeper. Maybe you who listen or watch me are wondering, is ejaculating every day good, or could it harm your health in some way? And if I decide not to ejaculate, will it affect me? These questions are not new, but the answers may surprise. What intrigues me is how this topic arouses so much curiosity and at the same time, fear. After all, we grew up hearing myths and taboos about the male body and ejaculation. I remember hearing stories when I was younger that a man who wasted his sexual energy would become weak and lose vitality. It was common to see older men worried about how often they climaxed, as if this could be saved for the future. Before continuing, I ask for your support to subscribe to our channel so you will always be notified when we upload new videos. Today, we know that the human body is much more intelligent and resilient than that. However, science continues to uncover new aspects, revealing how this practice, or even its retention, can impact different areas of health. It's not just about pleasure, but about longevity, emotional balance, and even disease prevention. Before we delve deeper, I want you to pause and reflect. What is your relationship with your body? How do you view your sexuality? And more importantly, how do you feel about this issue? Let's try to approach this non-judgmentally and with an open mind. I have learned over my 76 years that knowledge is liberating. When it comes to health, including sexual health, it's never too late to learn and improve. Now, let's talk about a topic that may not be debated much, but that deserves our attention. Prostate health. It may seem like a distant subject to many, but believe me, this small gland is essential in any man's life and is directly related to our question: can ejaculating frequently bring health benefits? Science, always curious, decided to investigate what happens when a man maintains an active and regular sex life. To the surprise of many, it has been discovered that this process goes beyond immediate pleasure. It also appears to help keep the prostate healthy. But how does this happen? The prostate is responsible for producing part of the seminal fluid, which protects and transports sperm. When there is a greater frequency of sexual activity or stimulation, this fluid is produced and expelled more regularly. Now imagine if all of this was stopped for a long period of time. There is evidence that this stagnation may not be healthy. Recent studies have highlighted a fascinating relationship between ejaculation frequency and the risk of prostate problems, including prostate cancer. Research indicates that men who maintain a regular ejaculation routine have extra protection against the development of prostate diseases. Some studies have revealed that ejaculating more than 21 times a month is associated with a reduced risk of prostate cancer. The theory is that regular ejaculation helps maintain fluid flow in the prostate, preventing the buildup of potentially harmful substances. When semen is expelled frequently, it can reduce the risk of inflammation and other conditions that, in the long term, can contribute to cancer. This protective effect was observed in several analyses that compared the incidence of prostate cancer between men with different ejaculation frequencies, showing that those with a more active sex life are significantly less likely to develop this disease. Additionally, a high ejaculation frequency is linked to greater production of antioxidants and other beneficial compounds that can protect prostate cells. These studies offer interesting insight into how regular sexual activity can not only provide pleasure, but also serve as a preventative strategy against serious health conditions. Therefore, maintaining a healthy ejaculation routine can be one of the factors that helps preserve prostate health over the years. Of course, it's important not to oversimplify. Health is always multifactorial, involving a combination of habits such as diet, physical exercise, and even genetics. But this connection between sexual frequency and healthy prostate function certainly makes us reflect, doesn't it? Furthermore, we know that the feeling of well-being that comes after this sexual release is not just emotional. Ejaculation triggers the release of substances such as prolactin and oxytocin, hormones that provide that feeling of relaxation and tranquility. And let's be honest, feeling relaxed and relieved has a direct impact on your overall health. After getting rid of accumulated tensions, the body tends to function in a more balanced way, and it doesn't stop there. There is another important aspect to consider: aging. Over the years, the body changes, as do hormonal functions. However, maintaining an active sex life can help preserve not only physical health, but also vitality. This doesn't mean that everyone should have an unrestrained sex life. The main thing is to understand that sexual health is one piece of the big puzzle that involves male well-being. Now, before you jump to conclusions, I want to make it clear. The ideal frequency varies from person to person. What works for one may not work for another. What really matters here is the understanding that keeping the body active and allowing it to function naturally can bring benefits that go beyond momentary pleasure. But what if someone chooses not to ejaculate as often? Could this cause problems? Let's see what happens when the body decides to retain this sexual energy for longer. First, let's better understand what seminal retention means. Basically, it is the practice of avoiding ejaculation during sexual intercourse, or even for prolonged periods. Some men do this intentionally, whether to conserve physical, mental, or spiritual energy, or even to improve long-term sexual performance. But is this practice really effective, or are we dealing with another fad? This idea may seem strange to many. After all, modern society, with all its emphasis on pleasure and immediate gratification, rarely talks about the potential benefits of not ejaculating. However, I'll be honest, this practice has its ardent supporters who swear that by retaining this energy, they feel stronger, more focused, and even more virile. Now let's get to the important questions. What does science say about this? Is there any physiological basis that justifies this practice? Or is it just an unfounded fad? The truth is that there is still a lot to be studied. Reports on the benefits of seminal retention come mainly from personal and anecdotal experience. Some men say they feel more energetic by reducing the frequency of ejaculation. They say they have more mental clarity, less fatigue, and a sex drive that keeps them alert and productive. On the other hand, some doctors argue that retaining semen for a long time can cause discomfort, accumulated tension, and even nocturnal emissions when the body naturally gets rid of excess semen during sleep. This means that for many people, the body adjusts on its own, expelling what is needed, so forcing retention may not be as natural as it seems. There is also the emotional issue. For some, retention can generate a feeling of self-control and power. For others, it can turn into frustration, anxiety, and an unnecessary increase in sexual tension. And here things get complicated, because at the end of the day, the goal is to improve well-being, right? It makes no sense to follow a practice that ends up generating more anxiety than benefits. Still, seminal retention remains a phenomenon that intrigues many men. Some seek this practice as a way of detoxifying social pressures surrounding sexuality. Others believe this practice can improve their sex life in the long term by allowing them to have more control over their emotions and impulses. Regardless of the reason, the important thing is that each man understands his body and knows what works best for him. There is no universal recipe. For some, retention can bring clarity and vigour. For others, regular ejaculation is what keeps the body and mind balanced. The secret is to know your own limits and not force your body into something that doesn't align with your physical and emotional well-being. Now that we've talked about both sides of the coin, frequency and retention, it's time to address one of the most complex yet essential aspects of sexual health, the balance between body and mind. This is perhaps the most challenging part of the whole issue, because what works for the body doesn't always align with what works for the body. When we talk about sexual health and ejaculation frequency, balance between body and mind is fundamental. Regular ejaculation can bring benefits such as stress relief, improved prostate health, better sleep quality, strengthening the immune system, and even improving mood. This occurs due to the release of hormones such as oxytocin and prolactin, which generate feelings of relaxation and well-being. However, when it happens in excess, it can generate physical fatigue, a temporary drop in testosterone levels, and even emotional exhaustion, affecting mood and even motivation. On the other hand, seminal retention, the practice of avoiding ejaculation for longer periods of time, is advocated by some as a method to increase physical energy, improve mental focus, and promote emotional control. However, retaining semen for a long time can result in frustration, tension, and even physical discomfort, such as the famous nocturnal emissions or pain in the testicles. In summary, both frequent ejaculation and retention have their pros and cons. The most important thing is to find what works best for your body and mind. Each person has their own rhythm, and the secret is to respect the body's signals, seeking the ideal balance for satisfactory sexual and emotional health. But now comes the big question. What is your experience with all of this? Have you ever noticed how your body reacts in different situations? Are you curious to understand more about how sexual health can impact your life in a comprehensive way? So, my dears, here is my advice. Live your lives with wisdom, love, and respect for yourself. Whatever you decide, do it for you, and not because someone else says it is right or wrong. This has been one of my biggest lessons over the years, and I hope that in some way it helps you find your own answers. And so, dear friends, we come to the end of our conversation on such an important and intimate topic. Reflecting on sexual health and the impact it has on our lives is essential, not only for our physical well-being, but also for our emotional well-being. I am confident that by exploring these questions together, we can open doors to new insights and a deeper understanding of ourselves. Talking about sex and health may seem uncomfortable to many, but it is essential that we approach these topics naturally and respectfully. By sharing our experiences and learnings, we can help each other better deal with our emotions, desires, and of course our health. After all, sexuality is an intrinsic part of who we are and deserves to be discussed openly, without taboos. Now, I would like to invite you to continue this journey of learning and self-knowledge. If you found this content useful and thought-provoking, don't hesitate. Leave your like to support us and share this video with friends and family who could benefit from this information. Your contribution is essential so that we can spread knowledge and demystify topics that are still considered taboo. Together we can create a healthier and more welcoming environment to discuss such important issues. And please don't forget to tell us your opinion. Your comments are very important to us. Leave your message below. Tell us where you are watching from and how this issue resonates in your life. We love hearing from you. It is through their experiences and stories that we can better understand what works and what doesn't for each of us. Interacting with you motivates us to create increasingly better and more relevant content. And for those who want to delve even deeper, don't leave yet. A link to our next video will appear on your screen shortly. This new content will help you optimize your sexual health in a simple and practical way. Click on the video and continue this journey with us. We look forward to seeing you back and continuing to explore these meaningful themes together. See you soon.